Hi guys, my name is Serg and today I'm going to speak about platform engineering. Before I start, let me tell you how relevant I am to this topic. In my career, I went from a developer to technical leader and architect and managed a small team. Then, with the grow into the engineering management, director of engineering, senior director of engineering, and global head of engineering, the size of the team which I managed and worked with actually grew to more than 100. And together it's this complexity and tasks and dependencies and other pieces. It's not to show that the titles in your career grow and it's great, but to show the relevance to the topic. I'm still hands-on, that's why you will see demos in this particular session. With my teams, we created different platforms, from mobile platforms to web cloud platforms, where actually customers were able to use previously internal development platform. Now they're using this as customers running their applications. We'll speak about this later, how to achieve this. And as you see, I'm also a contributor to Terraform, ECMAScript, and other pieces of software and libraries and frameworks. So let's start. Main question you need to always to ask is why. Always start with why. Why do we have the problem and which problem we have and why platform engineering will solve it. So problem, here you see just kind of request to ChatGPT, what is DevOps? DevOps, as you see, is methodology. Methodology, yeah, just like it describes the culture, guidance, and yada yada. So how do we start? Go figure. Of course, I edited here, it was a bit of different answer, but it was long and not exactly prescribed. So I checked the state of DevOps and we have this number of the DevOps tools on cloud native landscape. You can open this particular URL and you see thousands of different tools and which you can use for DevOps infrastructure development. The cognitive load went crazy. As a result, typically in many organizations we came to the situation when these tools and approaches used in very different ways, from different hostings to security to monitoring. It triggered their own problems, right? That architecturally you cannot align and provide the golden path. So technology alignment is hard. Security problem. No way to introduce the security scans and patches. Typically, a centralized team. Today, security growing and growing and growing in the not investment but uh, attention side. So there is no way to scalably run security checks. Business problem. Typical ask from the business is how you can do with less. Now we all have this particular questions. More and more we see what happening in the industry. So we need to solve these particular problems. And usual problems when it comes to coming to practice, yeah, common. Everyone wants to actually have speed to hire, speed to onboarding, right? So the time to the first commit. Developers want to remove the cognitive load and say and asking, give me some guidance framework inside of which I can just define my front end, back end tooling, give me the guidance. Engineering leaders, securities want to fix securities problems if you run the log4j or npm chain problems when some dependency of dependency is actually security vulnerable, and you need to solve this immediately and identify it, not only solve. Ops want to do the some improvements, and business always asking the same: can you operate with the same twice faster, with the same, deliver the same quality or better, and be more cost efficient? Usual story, the same. So you see, thanks to experience, I believe on your side it's similar. We can see this from different angles. Okay, so why platform engineering? Why are even speaking about this? So if DevOps is a practice, so how can we apply this practice? This methodology DevOps can be applied as platform engineering. Even ChatGPT will answer this exactly that you can use platform engineering. So you can try and you will have similar answer. And we finally have data. So just typical question is just like, don't speak too much, search, show me the data. So the data from the late state of DevOps showing us that the direct impact on development velocity from platform engineering was highly just like measured as improved, right? Similar we have about development speed, not velocities, but platform team in general just like removes frictions. And to summarize, DevOps is DevOps is a methodology, and platform engineering is a. So simple examples, right? So ECMAScript is, for example, a standard, right? And JavaScript in the browser, or V8 in Chrome browser, as you know it, is an implementation. So how you practically can do one thing in the way which suits you, depending on your browser or your IDE. Similar here, how you apply this in organization. Okay, so what are the objectives and goals for platform engineering? So platform as a product, that's one of the main goals which you need to follow. And first, when you start building platform, make sure that main customers is your internal developers. And your main metrics are customers net promoter score and adoption. So measure your adoption and how happy your customers, what they say about your platform is your metric, right? There is billion ways to measure this. It's a bit topic of different discussion. So here is typical steps you need to do to come to platform engineering. You can just like follow them. I will not go in exactly, you can download this presentation and check. The most important, of course, to make sure that you come into building cross-functional team and you implement your internal development platform. So if we come into this question, we need to understand how. Right? So typical teams topology. If I'm coming to build my cross-functional team, what I need to do? First, after all this time of DevOps growth of the DevOps adoption, I believe you defined, or you will need to define before going to building the platform, some prerequisites. What is your CI/CD tooling? Is it GitLab, GitHub, or other parts? What is your cloud providers? Is it just Azure, VMware, AWS? You define it, yeah? Same your tech stack, your target tech stack, and if you haven't done this, make sure that you're doing this before, otherwise check if you need platform engineering at this point. And after, you can check the team topologies book. It's a great guidance in this particular era, how you can define teams. And typical suggestion is to concentrate that you have product teams access service or product as which resolve some specific goals with clear boundaries. And also you will typically have some kind of organization like that. Very typical example, where you have these product teams, you have ops, security, and maybe some other aspects which are a bit common teams in practice. So when you start with platform engineering, make sure that you find a product which did something what is either already reusable, or there is, you see, some evangelists, people who are eager to help other teams to do similar solutions. If you read the book about Project Phoenix, you will see that some solution which was used by one team sometimes can save whole the companies. Of course, it's sound to just like interesting, but you need to find the product team and parts of ops and security which can define, which can bring together in the great platform different aspects of each. How develop, what is development experience we need in the company, what is the tech stack, what operations processes we want to have, security practices, and yada yada yada. Put 5-10 people and start it. If you ask when your engineering organizations have at least roughly 50 people, then start considering this. Of course, it all depends on your needs and timing and yada 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 yada. So at some point you will have platform engineering. Here the most important at this point will be your pilot customer. Make sure that you have a product team which, well, first of all, needs your solution and wants your solution. Just like try not never push. Just like make sure that they do work doing with the pool. Make them the most happy customer ever. Yeah. Make sure that they just adopting your solution. They doing the demos. They speaking you about you. Not comparing when you shouting about your platform and somebody else. Believe me, 10x better result is when somebody else is doing this. It's more trusted by others and so imagine you came to first customers. You started being known inside of the company as a platform. Start working on with directors, VP architects to scale. Make sure that CTO you have as your supporters, and then start growing. Some point you will make sure that everyone becomes your customer. In security and ops are your customer because through platforms they will deliver something to whole organizations. And at some point you will start having sub teams inside of your platform in infrastructure, front end, back end, common services for dedication. You will see this will grow. Okay, this is in short what about teams topologies. Okay, and now steps of evolution. So how the hell I start with my platform, right? Typically you have some stages of SDLC, software development lifecycle. So from starting point, how you do the version control, how you do CI, CD, CM, all this particular aspect. So in childhood is very first point, make sure that you have a simple developer portal, discoverability where everyone can find and discover what is your platform about and what does it solve, and start using your solution, and provide some simple tools and libraries how to use your particular solution. It might be something simple, a library, a tool, I don't know, a script in the end, but start from adoption, start getting some attention. Yeah? And then you can provide on this portal just like guidance on CI, CD, testing. Some aspects you can even skip at the beginning. So, for example, observability or others, from my experience, for some reason, just like left for a bit later to be added into the platform. So they just continue being a bit aside. Adolescents. When you grow slowly but surely, you will have more adoption, more support from executives and people from buy-in from product and other architects. So at this point, you need to use something like Backstage to provide a scalable developer portal and provide CLI tools to generate your application, CLI, UI tools to provide the guidance on your development portal, the documentation team start jumping in. So this is adolescence. And maturity, at some point you will see that you need to update and support this developer portal. You need to provide application templates for front end, for back end, like React, Java, Python, you define it. You need to integrate this with databases and data lakes, provide the test layers, security checks, previews, and environment generations, CD providers, infrastructure as code, monitoring on top of all this, and then you will see the most funny one will be upgradability. Great. So this is the stages to give you some guidance. I will return to actually this maturity because I will give you some guidance how you can achieve some of these aspects. Okay, so as I said, I still want to show you how, because at some point it would save me months. Okay, engineering portal. How the hell you do this particular guy? You can use simple tools like DocuShours, and let me show you what you can achieve. You can say that based on your particular solution, you created some simple static site generator, right? And you define, here, let me show you just how DocuShours look. DocuShours is a simple static generation, give me just a second, which is public, free, So, by the way, in this particular presentation, I have no affiliates, no links, nobody paid me for this, so it's like mostly free tools, which I will show you. It allows you to create documentation with versions. You can say version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your platform. You see, just like it provides you different content in different versions, and start from something simple. As I said, you can download my solution, you can download my application. It's simple, just a bunch of files or folders. Start simple. Provide more guidance on CI/CD. This is first step for you. Okay, when you start growing, you need Backstage. For the Backstage, of course, you need something more scalable, and typically Backstage is also free tool, which went open source recently, and here it allows you to provide your microservices, micro applications, micro frontends. We'll come to this in more details. So this is UI application with database integration, with some other aspects. Okay, we'll come back to Backstage later, I promise you. On frontend, so what the hell you do for frontend? Because most of your teams will deliver some frontend. Depends on your business, of course. Some of your teams might deliver frontend. Yeah, for frontend, typical playground is a storybook. So for storybook, here is an example. It's also a free tool and example of implementation. We, for example, did this with my teams, creating Guidewire web framework. Now it's available for Guidewire customers and on preview for everyone, and you start building components. You will deliver pages using this particular components. How to use them, how they have different look and feel, how to use them in, for example, in the code. All this is easy to be provided via storybook. So make sure that you deliver, as I said, the way to download your application code and your framework. Might be npm packages, you define. Describe this on development portal and then provide storybook like that. Okay, perfect. And of course, you might provide your own templates for React applications, Vue, Next, you decided. So here are some links which you can use to define the different type of applications for your internal customer teams. Great. Then we coming slowly to microservices land, which is a bit different beastie. And here we come to an interesting solution, which is called JHipster. I'm not sure many of you just heard about the JHipster, so I will show you this in practice, because it before Backstage, it was one of the greatest available solutions. So JHipster is an open source tool which allow you to also define your application templates and do a lot of integrations with CI, CD, CM, and other parts. So take a look. In JHipster, I will show you how you migrate an application. It asks me, do you want to create monolithic application? It might be microservice and micro frontend or their combination. So monolithic is name is my app1. Let's go. Spring Flux. I will go with more or less default one. Here is by default it's Java Spring Boot application. You can define Python, whatever you want. Authentication. You see it's already bundled. SQL. Sure, go with SQL. MySQL. Okay, what about local cache? You see, you can do all this particular steps as you wish. Registry, thank you. No, Elasticsearch API first. Here it comes to frontend, React, laundry UI, sure, and then of course it even just allows you to do different features. Okay, I created this application and I will actually start it. So here in this particular application, you see already generated JHipster apps which I did before, because it takes a bit of time, and it provides developer experience, which is super important. So you see, when you will do pre-commit, it already will do the static analysis of your code. That's where you can extend and deliver this as a template of your application and extend this with the best practices you want. Add security here, tests execution, unit tests execution, whatever you want. Provide the text standards, provide the other aspects as you wish. Yeah. So as you see, it's a simple Maven application. Java Spring Boot application with Maven, and here we can find my app. Usual one, yeah, so nothing special, some annotations here, and here you can also find, oops, give me a second, just here it is, and here is web application, sure, just like typical React, with error boundary, yada yada. You see it's all integrated together. You can do this separately, you can just do this together. Okay, let's see how it actually looks and works. As you remember, we delegated some database, right? And it allows me to provide a user. And out of the box, I have not only web UI, which I can just deliver as an application, but I can manage some users. I have some metrics and even logs, which I can deliver to my monitoring system, observability system, and just like gather it there. So also, in a second, I also have out-of-the-box API, which can be used in my developer portal. Great! Why I'm showing this? Because it's fast. Instead of just like describing this as documentation, to give me the tool which is making this automatically, right? Great. So we delivered all this. We allowed Imagine just like to create this particular application. But this is not enough, right? We want to make sure that we also can deliver these applications. Give me a second, I'll show you. You need to integrate these applications not with different cloud providers, CI/CD, and yada yada yada. So JHipster allows you, gives you CLI tool, which you can also deliver to your customers, to integrate with, give me a second, with AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and many other providers. It allows you to integrate CI/CD tooling and provide different integrations with cloud providers. Great. So you can, from JHipster, you have ability to use your templates, you have CLI, you have ability to integrate CI/CD. Great. But there is one more thing in JHipster, and most of the items which you see here can be greatly leveraged in Backstage. So we're going back to Backstage, and in Backstage I will stop my server here, not kill my laptop, and here I created my Backstage application. Backstage is a simple UI application with integration, visibility to create portals. UI plus database plus monitoring. So it started, it was exposed by Spotify to open source, built for internal needs, and now it's de facto standard for platform engineering portals to save you months of your work. So let it start. And after that, we will see that actually Backstage also allows you to create your own application templates. And second, here is Backstage application, and you see I took my Maven application and I put here as a template. I told that, you know what, I want to allow this particular template of my Backstage, which I just showed you, so I'm not bullshitting you. You see my Java application with the same content as before, with web app, with index files. Here's the same files, nothing special. I'm just literally just copy pasted this as a content. It allows you to create your own, to have your portal with integrated applications similar to what I showed you before. Oh, it's hard, yeah, perfect. So here we are. This is my, I started my example, my own local example of Backstage, and here I'm going to create my application based on the template. This particular app, which I showed you before, I added as a template, so I can create and integrate with my CI/CD system. So you got it. I am platform developer and I want to deliver for my wonderful teams ability to reuse my application of which I created before with JHipster. So let's call it somehow the same my app name. I will use GitHub. You can use GitLab or other integrations. So here directly you can add this with CI/CD. So here make sure that you provide the organization name and you provide your repository. And finally, of course, it will just like start. It will try to create the application directly from here, based on the template which we created before from JHipster. Great. So first, it takes my content of my application. Remember, just like Java and also UI based on TypeScript and React. Great. And you see, it tries to deliver this to GitHub. Okay. First, just like fetch the base, it applies the name of my application, maybe some integrations with security aspects like security keys, and finally it publishes to GitHub. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes some time. So I will show you that, you know what, I just like added a few things. I also added, you know what, I want to deploy my application. I want to deploy my application when it goes to GitHub because it will be pushed to my main branch, and I want to deploy this to AWS. I want to provide my to publish my web to a S3 bucket and then expose with CDN. And also maybe I want to do something else, but we will see. First of all, do we have a problem? Okay. Something happened. Let me check if something went wrong. We learned something, right? Okay. For some reason it just couldn't push. Why? No idea. Okay, anyway, I will just delete my application so you will see that I'm not bullshitting you. You just try. No idea. Okay. My app, push. Who knows? Maybe this time it will work, maybe not. You'll never know. So I added the deployment to AWS and I added Terraform to my template. Terraform is also just can be your Kubernetes, can be separately, can be for your Kubernetes some particular databases or other. So here I also just like it because it's web application with some database. I added the publishing to CD to CloudFront, and I want to see all this in action. And I hope this time it will push the directory properly. Things happen in this life, and we always can learn something, right? Okay, so once again, I created a template with JHipster. I used this template in Backstage. I added integration with CI/CD in the way which I wanted. It's GitHub. You can use GitLab. I use Terraform for infrastructure as code. Perfect. So here is a repository, and let's see what happens. This time I just like push stop. So you see, I'm not bullshitting you. We just directly committed to my application right now. And because I added this wonderful GitHub flows, what happens? My CI/CD pipeline as code started to give me fruits. And just installing dependency and then it built and deployed to AWS. Perfect. Perfect. It will also use Terraform of my choice. Great. Of course, I just like did this before because it takes a bit of time. And here it is. You see this particular URL is already published on Amazon CloudFront because it was used in my code and directly said that where it should be deployed on AWS. Here, you provide secret keys and you provide the S3 bucket and distribution. Perfect. So from local host to actually published application. Done. Great. So after we got all the steps, what's next? It's upgradability. Believe me or no, guys, but this is 1 million question, and I mean it. I mean it because literally, when you have small platform, your yearly cost of the updates for your internal only customers is measured as up to 20,000 depending, just like so. When you have medium size, you already have $80,000 per year, which might be cost of a salary for a few 1 2 people depending on the location. So when it's large organization, it starts growing for up to $500,000 plus dollars per year, which is crazy amount of money. Question: how you leverage this? How you do this? How you may invest some research to decrease this cost or eliminate this? And of course, it's not only cost; it's development frictions. Yeah, just like if you want to make this smooth and deliver your updates for customers, you need to make sure that this is as smooth as possible. So what the hell do we do? That's where Backstage is not exactly the great solution. So of course it added our portal, you see, just it provided documentation path, but when I'm publishing a new version of my application, maybe I changed some API, maybe I changed some imports, I want to update. So how the hell I do it? Go here. That's why I mentioned for you JHipster. JHipster allows you to say, you know what, between previous version and this version there was some changes. So create a branch of application developer code base. So imagine it's a product one code base. Try to apply my changes, updates, I don't know, imports, API, and provide them the branch with this updated version. So then they can figure out what to do next. Okay, this is one part, but sometimes changes are very specific. It requires not only Git changes, but maybe changes in the code to not follow documentation precisely. For this, you always can use code shift. So code shift allows you to say, okay, in the language of my choice, I want to do some code transformation. Transformation, just like on JavaScript, transformation on Java, on your needs. So it creates some ATS tree from your files and tries to apply the changes you describe here. So for example, React code mode is a JavaScript React implementation for of code shift. How you can do this for JavaScript? There is Java implementations and others. And for dependencies management, you can use Renovate. It's also a free tool which supports crazy amount of languages from Python to Java to Node.js and anything. This is just great, which allows you to say, okay, for different reasons you want to update your dependency or dependency or you don't. Great. So all these particular pieces giving you a strong platform, but you know what, as I said, it's just like sneak peek of all the pieces I created for you when I was preparing for this particular presentation. A repository and this curated list of these tools and blogs and actually different informations and links related to platform engineering. All these pieces, how you provide code templates, how you create microservices front end, how you provide upgradability and apply different aspects like, I don't know, Kubernetes providers, some infrastructure platforms, how you do all this here. So make sure that you go in here and just like find the best tool which you want to create your platform. If I had this at some point, it would save me many months, but now it's time for me to share my experience. Great. And from this great experience, which sometimes that's how we call our mistakes or learnings, let me give you a few advices. So make sure that pilot team, you're super involved with them and they become your best friend and evangelist. So you will get a customer and from customer you will get evangelist at the top of your customer ladder. Treat your platform as a product. As soon as possible, you need to deliver business value. Business I'm sorry, between us, very honestly, not very often cares about technology. They care about the product, about the solution, about customer, marketing, sales, technology. It's your responsibility. Make sure that you solving the business problem. So business problem is adoption, is speeding up, is just like cost, all this goodness. Yeah. So for this, treat internal teams as customers as soon as possible. Provide them Slack, provide them the developer portal, invest in platform PM. It's just very great topic. It's a very big pain, to be honest. Yeah, grow either internally PM or find the guy who is crazy interested in all these pieces and know how to speak with customers and how to build platforms, or is eager to do this. Evangelize. So you need to send regular releases. You need to be predictable. Do the demos, newsletters. Make sure that others speaking about you. As in any other product, it requires the stages of evolution. And few interesting things. So for UI adoption, make sure that you put heads with the UX. So for example, my best partner in crime was head of UX. Make sure that your developers in UX working very closely. That okay, they do the design. Okay, then you have front-end components for this. Same for your ops team. Yeah, just so if an ops team is saying we start implementing some monitoring solution, New Relic, I don't know, just like Datadog, make sure that you providing the tools for this in your platform. And this goes together. They speaking about you, you saying that you enabling them, done, just like win-win. And cooperate with all the architects, directors, VP, CTO. You need here actually, yeah, you need to make sure that from the top down you have ability to enable bottom up. That's the thing you are looking for. And jackpot strategy, this is my favorite. Yeah, if you find the way how to deliver the platform which previously was internal to your customer, you not just cost center and where company sees the spend, business is spend, they see the profit, and profit will be just like your friend. So make sure that you find the way how you can deliver your goodness to customers. That's this way you will have test base inside of your company, great fast feedback, and you will have customers. Also win-win situations for everyone. Okay, so to summarize, remember this maturity of our platform. I gave you some ideas how you can provide this portal solution for discoverability, how people can find your platform and start with it, how you can use your application template, how you can integrate with data and provide test checks, because you can include this in your CI/CD pipe as code. You can add CD and infrastructure as code inside of your templates, and in Backstage or JHipster just added separate steps of template creation and the CI/CD of your choice code. Observability also should come there, just like tracing should be integrated. Everything should be just like going to backend and front end and infrastructure immediately. And upgradability, you saw the JHipster, code modes, and other solutions can help you with this. As a result, you will provide technology enablement. Yes, so it's centralized way to introduce new stacks and libraries. You want to migrate from Python to Java, provide a new type of application, and start actually working on the feedback. Yeah, cloud adoption, new cloud adoption, and others. Security and compliance. Perfect example. Log4j or npm versions problem we had before with the security. You publish update in the platform in the centralized way, and immediately through this upgradability tooling you deliver this to all your customers, internal and external. Win-win, perfect, amazing. And also DevOps will be happy because they can introduce the new layers together with security, common security checks across whole your organization. Cost one, you need to measure this, but it just literally we have the whole state of DevOps, we have research. It reduces cost and of onboarding, technology alignment, pivoting if you company acquired other company and want to integrate or want to change the tech stack, and upgradability cost is just like clear win event resolved. Okay, guys, what I can say, here are the links to the slides which I just showed you, together with the resources which which I created as a GitHub repository. The best day to start is always today. Make sure that you start in your journey. It will really take 1,000 miles, but you will get to your mountain, to the top of to your dream, right? And make sure that you're doing this first single step. I gave you some guidance, shared my experience. Good luck. Now do it. Build it. Have a nice one. Bye, guys.